Petr Yan versus Jose Aldo for the title that Henry Cejudo just vacated. This is a good fight. I haven't always been pleased with the fights for the vacant belts. Sometimes they get put on between contenders, but this one I think is going to be fascinating. Aldo, it kind of fell in his lap. You think about it, he only had one fight at 135 pounds. On paper, it's a loss against Marlon Moraes. Me and a whole bunch of other people, Dana White included, went on the record after the fight saying that he thought Aldo won. I remember Joe Rogan said that he thought Aldo won right in the moment. DC might have been commentating that fight, might have said it as well. Either way, nevertheless, put on a very good performance, but only one fight at 135 pounds. So it kind of fell in his lap a little bit. But I think the cards just played out right. Aljamain Sterling just came off of a fight, so he wasn't eligible with the way the whole COVID-19's playing and the lockdown and everything. He was just available. And with his resume, what he's done at 145 pounds, he's absolutely legitimate to get this shot. You don't really hear people complaining about it, and that's why. I mean, the man's earned it in a lot of regards, even though he only has that one fight. So I don't mind that. And as far as Petr Yan, absolutely he's legitimate to go for it. The man's a beast. He's been a wrecking ball coming through the 135-pound division. Definitely looks like he's ready for it. There's obviously other people who are absolute contenders, like I just mentioned, Aljamain Sterling. He will likely be the first title defense for whoever wins this belt at UFC 251. Now, that being said, breaking down the actual fight, right? What's going to happen in this thing? So Jan's the favorite coming in. And I totally understand that. I get why he's the favorite. Makes sense. I think he has either an amateur boxing background or he fought a few fights professionally before he went into MMA. Either way, his hands are smooth. The way he gets his shots off, the combinations, they're long. He shoots good jab, works well behind it, moves his feet well while he's throwing punches, moves his upper body and his waist well while he's throwing punches. And that's a lot of things that's a thing that you don't see a lot of fighters do unless they come from a boxing heavy background. It's one of the things that you learn in boxing, at least at a higher level, when if you get somebody to teach you some little tricks and nuances. And you don't really see it with guys who come from more of a Muay Thai background or a kickboxing, something along those lines that kind of went straight or went directly into MMA. And Petr Yan does it really well. He also applies great pressure. Yeah, it's the key to his success in most ways when you think about it. All the guys that he dominated, the guys that he ran through, one of the things that is a consistent part of his story is that he's able to back them up. He's able to apply pressure. They fight at a pace that they don't want to fight at. Everything's moving quicker than they want it to. He's in there, he's landing shots, he's aggressive. He's really well-rounded. He's got a really good left kick to the body. It lands like right on the liver. It's when he switches to a southpaw stance. I mean, the man knows how to fight. The man knows how to fight at a high level. Now, all that being said, he did have real problems in one of his fights, and that was against Jimmy Rivera. The reason he had so much problem with it is because Jimmy Rivera was using movement beautifully. Side-to-side movement was incredibly well, and he was also using his feints well and getting in and out. And Petr Yan, for as good as he covers distance and as much as he moves, he's a flat-footed fighter. He's light on his feet, so he can move away from shots easily when he wants to, when he needs to. But at the end of the day, he fights flat-footed a lot. So if you can turn him, if you're really good at working angles, knowing how to use a small circle to movement around, horizontal movement, making him pick up his front foot a lot. If you know how to utilize a lot of those techniques, it's going to cause him trouble. And that's what Jimmy Rivera was able to do. Now, don't get me wrong. He caught Jimmy Rivera with some ferocious shots, deservingly won the rounds, deservingly won the fight. Okay, dropped him nasty at the end of the first round, end of the second round. But my point is, you could see for large portions of that fight, Petr Yan was having trouble, and it was because of that movement. Now, he ended up destroying Uriah Faber, but there were small moments in that Faber fight when Uriah Faber was using movement really well, and it was the same thing. He was able to give Yan some trouble. That's a weakness. That's a problem is. Now, one of the things about this fight that he's got going for him is Aldo's not a big movement guy. right? Really, really not his thing. He doesn't have to worry about Aldo getting out there, dancing around, using a whole bunch of movement, being all fleet of foot, making things trying to happen that way. That's not his style. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. As a matter of fact, Aldo fights flat-footed. Now, he's very instinctual. He gets away from shots very easy. Moves his head well, moves his upper body well, dances away when he needs to, but his movement's very minimal. Nothing is wasted. Very efficient in his movement, and he's flat-footed. Here's the thing, their styles match up well for this reason. Jan loves to come forward. Jan loves to be aggressive. He wants to back his guy up, get him against the cage, and cause damage. Aldo primarily likes to be a counterpuncher. He can really live off another man's aggression. So when you come towards him, when you fight hard, move forward all the time, it's going to give him opportunities. That's exactly what's going to happen with Jan. Jan's going to come forward, and he's going to give Aldo opportunities. Now, Jan's highly skilled. They both like to box much more than they like to kick. So their games are going to be pretty tight with their hands. They're both really used to fighting well with their hands. So it's not going to be sloppy. It's going to be very high level. But I can tell you right now, one of the things that Aldo is going to utilize big time is going to be that overhand right, that counter overhand right. Jan's going to come in, he's going to try to work that jab, or he's going to try to work a combination. Aldo's going to slip to the left, and he's going to work that overhand right counter. It's a big punch that he uses. He's also probably going to really want to work the body, especially that left that he uses to the body. Caught Jeremy Stevens with it, hit him right on the liver, ended the fight. I believe he caught Moicano with it. He's been getting really good with it in recent fights. And I think he's going to have to use it a lot in this one, because that's really going to stop Jan's pressure, or at least alleviate some of it. I mean, you're never going to stop it, but he'll be able to take some of the steam off of it, which is something that he's really going to need to do. And although so explosive, his counters, he's good. He can work them really fast into combinations. He can kick well off of them, either to start to end. So it's interesting. In a lot of ways, these styles are made for each other, because if Aldo gets backed up, if Jan's able to put him on his back foot, it's going to break his counterpunching ability right down. Not going to be able to go well. Ultimately, I do believe that's going to be the story of this fight. Everything else that's going on, both of these guys being well-rounded, I think the story of this fight, what's going to make the difference, because it's going to be closer than people think. I think Jan's too big of a favorite. Las Vegas is giving him a little bit too much credit. I think he's neg 200, maybe even a little bit more, neg 220 going into this fight. And I think it's going to be a lot closer than that. Not that he doesn't deserve to be the favorite, he does, but I don't think that big of one. And what I believe everything is going to come down to is the pressure. If Jan can apply the pressure that he wants to, move it, get the fight moving at the pace that he wants it to move, back Aldo up, keep him on the back foot, push him up against the cage, he's going to see a lot of success, because that's what's going to break down all those counterpunching. If he's moving at a pace that he doesn't want to, if he can't get comfortable, can't control the distance, the cage, he's backed up against the cage, which is limiting his movement and his possibilities of how he's going to roll and work angles and move out, it's going to be a disaster. Jan's going to tear him apart. Now, the flip side to that is if Aldo can effectively counter him, if he can stop that pressure. And the only way he's going to be able to stop it is through effective countering. Right, Aldo, like I said before, he's not going to dance. He's not going to move around. He's not going to try and stop the pressure the way Jimmy Rivera did. He's going to try to stop the pressure through hard shots. He's got real, true power. If he lands a shot, anybody at 135 is going to feel it. He was stopping guys at 145. Guys at 135 are going to feel it. So the question becomes, can he land those shots? Can he get those opportunities and get those hard shots off? Another game changer, by the way, Aldo's got some of the most devastating kicks the UFC has ever seen. Some of the most devastating leg kicks. Now, he hasn't used them a lot recently. And he said he's laid off them because he's worried about getting taken down. He's worried about wrestling. Jan is no wrestler. I've seen him execute some good technique on some double takedowns, but at the end of the day, he's not a wrestler. And if Aldo gets off just 2 or 3 of those leg kicks, they're game changers. He could completely tear apart Jan's front leg. It's going to make it really hard for him to push off and get the pressure and the explosiveness that he wants to. It could really turn the fight at the drop of a dime, literally 2 or 3 of those leg kicks. I mean, look what he did to Uriah Faber. Oh, that fight makes me cringe just thinking about it. He was landing such hard leg kicks. But that's going to be the story of the fight. It's going to be the pressure. If Aldo can hold that pressure off here through body shots, little small effective movements, landing a leg kick here or there, just countering when he needs to, and keeping Jan from just full throttle pushing him back, he's got a real shot. he's got a real shot then, and it's going to be a long night for Jan. But if Jan can get that pressure going, it's going to be over with. The other thing is we've never seen Jan go 5. Cardio seems great, endurance seems great. You have no reason to question it, but we've never seen him go 5 rounds. So that's what I think will be the real questions of the fight. And at the end of the day, if I have to make a decision, I have to make a pick on this one, I'm going to go with Jan. I think Petr Yan's going to walk away with the belt at 135 at the end of this fight. I'm not putting anything on it, though. I wouldn't advise anybody else to. Jose Aldo could easily walk away with this. I expect it to be highly entertaining. It's going to be a great matchup. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Can't wait to hear. Can't wait to see this fight on Saturday. Should be awesome.